Ironically, no one has ever heard about this, or maybe it's just me, but the general consensus was that money only makes you happy up to $75,000 a year, which is, as we now know, completely not true. I've never been more excited to film a video in my entire life because my entire life has been a lie up until this point. Do you guys remember like 10 years ago when they came out with that study that said if you make more than $75,000 a year, the happiness level plateaus? Like your income no longer makes you happier up to $75,000 a year. Do you guys all remember that study? Because I brought it up to a few of my friends and they all said yes, I remember that study. Anyway, that study was done in 2010 and it was by Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton. And they basically tracked people's like overall well-being and figured that around $75,000 per year in income, their happiness levels plateau. So that's completely all a lie. And there was a study that was published last year in 2021 that was a much better study that completely debunks that, and the results are absolutely shocking. The study was done by Matthew Killingsworth, and basically this Matthew Killingsworth guy developed an app called Track My Happiness, and he used it for his study. His research sampled 1.7 million experiences from 33,000 employed US adults using this Track My Happiness application. And he was basically trying to find what is the relationship between money and well-being. So his research distinguishes between two forms of well-being: people's feelings during the moments of life experience well-being, and people's evaluation of their lives when they pause and reflect, evaluative well-being. The present results show that both experienced and evaluative well-being increase linearly with log income, with an equally steep slope for higher earners as for lower earners. There was no evidence for an experienced well-being plateau above $75,000 a year. Contrary to some influential past research, there was also no evidence of an income threshold at which experienced and evaluative well-being diverged, suggesting that higher incomes are associated with both feeling better day to day and being more satisfied with life overall. So basically, Matthew was testing for two things: how you feel in the moment and how you feel about your life, using this app, this app that he developed, and it would randomly ask and survey these people that were using the app, and people that made more money overall felt better, and it increased linearly with all of the results from the past, right? So even above 75,000 all the way up to 480,000, the results just continue to go up, meaning that as people made more money overall, they felt in the moment better and about their life better, which is crazy. The present investigation used smartphones to collect real-time reports of experienced well-being and examined its relationship to household income in the United States. Specifically, it compared the experience and evaluated well-being across the income spectrum using an experience well-being measure that was 1, measured in real time, minimizing errors of memory; 2, measured on a continuous scale, allowing ample room for variation; and 3, measured on dozens of separate occasions per person. Now, that was the first part of the study, which in and of itself is groundbreaking, but there's a second part of the study, and that is, are larger incomes associated with more positive feelings overall or less negative feelings overall, or both? Since the primary measure of experienced well-being in the study combined good and bad feelings on one scale, different measures are needed to distinguish these effects. An existing study of experienced well-being in the United States measuring remembered feelings found that larger incomes were associated with lower levels of sadness, but no difference in happiness. So this is just relating to what they had found in the past, and basically, if you made a lot of money, you weren't sad, but you weren't more happy. To investigate the relationship between income and the positive and negative aspects of experienced well-being separately, real-time levels of a variety of positive feelings: confident, good, inspired, interested, and proud, and negative feelings: afraid, angry, bored, sad, stressed, and upset, were measured. These were secondary measures and collected at a lower volume than the primary experience well-being measure, around 50,000 responses per feeling. Regression results for each of the 12 feelings across the income spectrum showed that larger incomes were associated with significantly higher levels of all positive feelings and significantly lower levels of all negative feelings, which means the more money that you make every single year, the more positive feelings you have and the less negative feelings you have, contrary to people that make less money. So if you were to make less money, you would have less positive feelings and more negative feelings. And the graph on this is like crazy. It's just like an X. Like, it's just a complete X. And it illustrates exactly what the study found perfectly. So the general consensus before this video, before this study, which ironically no one has ever heard about this, or maybe it's just me, but the general consensus was that money only makes you happy up to $75,000 a year, which is as we now know, completely not true. My mother always told me that rich people are sad and depressed, and there's plenty of rich people on the earth that have all these riches and all this money, but they're still hopeless and they have nothing. And going back and thinking about it now, I realize that that's just like a massive cope, because there's plenty of poor people that are just as sad as people that have money that are sad. But according to scientific data, the more money you make every single year, the less sad you're going to feel and the more positive you're going to feel. And it completely makes sense, right? Like when you have more money, you're more free. You have more freedom to do what you want to do every single day. You're not tied to something. You're not tethered to a job or doing something you hate. And so with that freedom, you're going to do things that please you and that make you happy. And so yes, you're going to spend more time doing things for yourself. Why would that not make you happier? That makes perfect sense. But at the same time, what about like the deep fulfillment or like the deep sense of achievement and happiness that everybody in life is searching for? How do you find that? Well, I don't know. I don't have the answers to all the questions, guys. I'm not your personal therapist. I'm sorry, I don't know, but I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you what I've experienced in my life, and maybe, just maybe, it can help you. My opinion is that you should not pursue money with the expectation of it completely fixing and transforming your life. If you are a piece of crap when you are broke, all that's going to change when you make money is the level at which you are a piece of crap. You're just going to be a massive piece of crap when you have money, and you should not expect it to make you happy if you have like a chronic depression, or if you are just sad with life or a pessimistic person. Money is not going to just flip the switch on that and make you an optimistic and a happy person. It's simply going to amplify and enlarge who you already are on the inside. So if you are a broken person on the inside, if you have traumatic scars that you still deal with, you should not be pursuing money with the expectation that it's going to fix all of these other problems that have nothing to do with money. These problems are not financial related, they're personal problems. When you make money, it's not going to change those things, and in fact, it maybe could even make them worse. But that being said, you should do yourself a favor and fix yourself as a person, fix these personal issues, and then make the money and let that be the cherry and the sprinkles on top so that you can enjoy life to the fullest. Now, personally, for me, I've noticed so far to this point in my life that the happiest I've ever been was during a journey of change for the better in my life. So for example, as I was on the journey to improve my health and get in better shape and look better, through that journey, I was very happy. And as I was noticing small successes along the way, small little wins is the time that I feel really happy, when I'm moving forward or when I'm progressing in that journey of my life. Another example is when I improve relationships with people that I love. Like if there's a roadblock in something in my life and it's important that I get to the next phase, improving on that and moving forward on that road also makes me very, very happy. And then also in general, giving back to people. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but like wisdom that I have, or like giving advice based on the experiences I've had in my life and seeing it help them, is something that also has made me really happy. My prediction for the future is going to be having a wife and having kids. I cannot wait to have a wife, and I cannot wait to have kids as well. And that's going to be one hell of a journey, I'm sure. Also becoming more Christian and experiencing everything that has to offer in my life, and then finally devoting my life to something that will be timeless and something that will exist after me, something that will outlive me, I think is something that is going to fulfill me and make me happy. But these are predictions, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. To summarize this entire video, because I was very, very excited once I found this study, creating wealth and increasing your income and making more money does on paper make you happier. You are going to have more positive feelings and less negative feelings as you keep going up. And this study went up to $480,000 in income. So if you're watching this and you have less than $480,000 in income every single year, it's now scientifically proven that you can feel better overall if you continue to go up on that path. However, do not chase this path with the expectation that it's going to fix all the problems in your life, because I can promise you every single person in this video has problems of their own that are unique to them in their life. And maybe money is not going to fix that. Money will, buy you food and it will give you freedom. And if you absolutely hate your job, it will fix that. But there are also other problems that money will not solve. So you need to be able to identify both sides of these, and if you're smart and motivated, you can fix both sides and just have a happy life. So that's what we're all going for here. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. I was really excited for this study, and if you enjoyed this, maybe share it with your mom so that she doesn't tell you that all rich people are sad, because it's not true. Maybe share it with your grandma, maybe post it on Facebook. Other than that, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.
All right, so I'm currently at my dashboard on smmshiba.com. And do not get confused by the website names. SMM Shiba and SMM Dodge are actually the same website. So all you have to do once you've created yourself an account here is to go on list, click on this category icon, select, and here you want to select something, basically any option that says from with video. So I'm going to choose this one right here, and this should be already fine. 2014, 2017, yeah. Now I'm going to click on buy, confirm, and now you can go onto your product orders and you will see this is pending. All right, the order is now completed. This didn't even take 2 minutes. What you want to do now is you want to copy that ID, and we want to be organized, right? Especially if we have multiple channels, you will not find them again. So make sure to save it somewhere.